Alright, welcome everybody. Thank you for choosing finance. Okay, just a quick briefing of myself. So basically, I actually grew up in IRC, right? I actually attended this church when I was, I think 11 years old. Started off with champs actually, then grew up all the way till I'm now, adult already. And then I've been in the working field or in the corporate finance environment for close to 6 years. Coming July will be my 6th year in the corporate environment. And then in these 6 years, I've actually been to 2 different companies. Within the same industry, we call it the fast-moving consumer goods industry, but in different markets. So I started off my career with the infant formula business, right? American multinational corporation. And then about a year plus ago, I actually moved to a German multinational company where I focus in the skincare market. All right. So throughout these two companies I've been to, also I've been basically in the we call it financial planning and analyst department, right? So basically we focus a lot on forecasting and budgeting. Upfront, difference between accounting and finance. Let me just bring up the pointer. Okay, so basically accounting traditionally, all this while their main responsibility is to ensure they're able to record and to maintain financial records properly, right? Why is it important? Because at any point, let's say the government wants to audit your company, check your finances. At any point, if you are being caught not recording your earnings, understating your earnings, overstating your earnings, right, you can get a huge fine. So most of the time, accounting people are expected to make sure financial transactions are captured properly. Okay, so their main focus is on accuracy, reliability, and backward working, right? This is sometimes you hear people talk about a lot of processes. Most of them, unfortunately, because accounting, they are meant to make sure the data is reliable, right? They always look backwards. What does that mean? So whenever we close the year, for example, we end the year, right? Accountants will always look backward and you check, okay, how correct is the year? Is everything in properly or not, right? They always look backwards. But when it comes to finance, right, you are the management of money. We manage money, right? Because in finance, you actually ensure that we have sufficient funds, right, to put behind a particular project, a particular investment, or a particular business. And by doing so, we have to ensure that we generate optimum returns on the investment. Okay, so how do we do that? We do it by, the main focus is to look into insights. We do a lot of analysis. We look a lot of trending. We look into the data. You look into the details, and we look forward. We project forward, right? And based on the changing business environment, we have to change our forecast along the way also. So basically, when you look about career in finance, right? When you Google finance, you have many opportunities, many different prospects, right? You have banking, you have financial planning, wealth management, right? Those, you help you to plan their financial status, all the way up to retirement, or let's say you're interested in investment, stocks and bonds, you can go to the banks. I think earlier Caleb was mentioning cryptocurrency, though it's not part of finance per se because it's not governed yet, right? But it's also something new, definitely. You'll also branch into cryptocurrency very soon. The area I'm touching today is on corporate finance, right? As I was saying earlier, I was in the financial planning and analysis department. If you go to a European companies will call this department the controlling department. And why is it controlling? Because our role here is a very dynamic role, right? We do a lot of forecasting, and the main purpose is for us to business partner. What do I mean by that? Means we have to work very closely with the salespeople, with the supply chain, with the marketing to help to drive the business in a sustainable way and an efficient manner. Basically, if you're interested in doing, a career in finance, basically your roadmap, you look something like this. You can start off with a foundation course, maybe be A levels, it could be foundation in science or arts, it could be diploma, it could be, if you want to do ACCA in the future, you can fast track using CAT, right? This will take between 1 or 2 years. Then you go to a degree, it will take between 3 to 4 years. So in terms of degree, if you want to do finance, you can do any major, in business management, international business, it could be accounting also, accounting and finance, business management and finance. All of these courses actually gives you the foundation to start a career in finance. And your real learning and your true learning starts the moment you join a company, where you're able to apply, all the theoretical work you learn into a real life business. Okay, and after that, if you look further, you can also venture into your postgraduate programs, such as the MBA, Masters in Finance, or you can even explore other postgraduate, in different fields. So it could be e-commerce also, right? I think it's growing today. And obviously to stay relevant, right? In the changing environment, you can always look at other certification while working also. Try to upskill yourself. So, how does my day-to-day work in corporate finance? So let me give you a very simple scenario. I think here you can relate lah. But I think for all of you who are seeing this for the first time, don't be surprised, don't be scared. Don't worry. If you're gonna take another path into finance, you'll cover all of these things. Okay. So what you're seeing here is a very simple sample of what a profit and loss account looks like. So what's a profit and loss? Basically recording what's our income, what's our expenses, and at the end of the day, are we profitable or are we making a loss? Okay, so don't have to worry about all the lines. Okay, you can just follow my flow. So let's assume whatever I highlighted in red, if I'm a business, okay, and I'm selling product ABC, and I have 4 main customers, right? I'm selling to Pharma W, Pharma G, 7E, or Tanmat, for example, right? And I'm assuming I'm only selling to them every year 70 ringgit, both of goods, right? 70, 77, 70. So at the end of the day, I will have 280 for the year. This will be my sales. Okay, then the next portion I bring your attention to is the gross margin. So what is gross margin? So when you hear the word margin, very simple. It's just basically what is your earnings after you take away the cost of doing business. Okay, so in this case, we're looking at a gross margin of 57.1%. So let's assume that ideally we do business, we plan for the year. Let's assume that okay, our target is to ensure we hit 250 a year. At the same time, our gross margin cannot be below 55%, because anything below 55%, then maybe having a risk of not making as much money, or we are sacrificing our long-term sustainability or long-term profitability. Okay, let's put it that way. So let's say one fine day, Pharma just come to us and say, hey, you know what? I noticed due to the slowing down economic situation, my customers are not buying from me anymore. So I demand from you, to give me more discount, so I can sell cheaper to my customers. Right? So maybe I can bring back all the volume. So they said that if you can give me 50% discount, I will guarantee you I can grow the business by double, for example. Right? So we can see Pharma G, now they're going to grow their business by double, but at the same time, we have to increase their discount by 20%. So now this is where, as a finance person, our role steps in. Because when a salesperson does a business, and when they see this proposal, they say, hey, very good, what? We only do additional 20% discount, our sales is going to double, then our net sales is going to grow by another 30 ringgit. If you compare to our target, you're going to have additional 60 ringgit, right? But as a finance person, you look more than that. You don't just look at sales, right? You look at the overall profitability of the company. When that happens, then you will see that in the gross margin, we're actually declining from 57.1% drop to 51.6%, down by 3.4%. So this is actually one clear example is what happens when the company focuses on short-term profits and sacrificing the long-term profitability. Because I'm giving you so much discount now, obviously in the future you want to sell to this customer, he's going to, hey, last time you all did so much discount, did so well, but you continue giving me a discount now, it's harder to, to negotiate already. So as a finance person, we look at this as a business situation, you know what, this is actually not practical, it's not doable in the sense that we are sacrificing our long-term business sustainability. Even though we're getting very good sales, but it's not sustainable. So we will look at the finances, we do a lot of simulation, a lot of analysis, and we'll come up with a suggestion. And we will recommend this to the company. Okay, you know what? After looking into the financials, actually we come up with a better recommendation. Why don't, instead of letting them, we support them, we're going to give them more discount up to 50%, why don't we negotiate with them? You say, you know what? We're only going to give you additional 10%, up to 40% discount. Okay, your business may not double, it's okay, it's fine, because even by doing so, I'm still going to be having an incremental sales, maybe not as high, but at the same time, I am maintaining the long-term profitability of the company. So even though I'm not earning as much as in my sales, but because we are still profitable, we are in a more, better position, right, as a company. Okay, so basically this is just one very simple example of what I'm doing in my role in this role, where we do a lot of forecasting, a lot of simulation to ensure that the company is making money sustainably. Okay, and obviously in a real life scenario, it's not so straightforward. It's not just one customer, one more discount. There's many different scenarios, right? For example, right now during this pandemic, everybody started buying online. Then what happened to these stores? So it's a lot of different scenarios, a lot of things to simulate, and then we play a very active role as a financer, as a forefront, right, to actually advise the salespeople, the commercial people on the best action or the best strategy to take to grow the business. Okay, so one thing to highlight, whatever I to you right now, right, wherever you are, don't let this scare you or be frightened. Wherever you are, whether you're in high school now, whatever, you do your best. And when the time comes, you have to pick a course. Obviously, you have to do your own research then, because by the time you want to take a course, things may change, the field may change. Because when I studied and I came out, this particular field was also very new, right? So when the time comes, make sure you do your research because the field may change over time. And one more thing to highlight also, my pastor always share, God is so gracious, right? God is always wanting to help us. But God can give us, let's say, 100,000% effort. But if you don't do anything at all, right, means we rely on God's grace. But if we ourselves don't do anything, it's still going to amount to a 0. So whatever we do, we give our very best, right? If you're studying right now in high school, you give your very best. You come to uni, you study your very best. When you come out to work, also you give your very best. So when you give the very best, and with God's grace, you have your supernatural acceleration, right? Your supernatural blessing, your exponential blessings. Okay? So now, any questions? Let me stop my sharing first so I can see your faces.
Just want to ask, right, for those who really do want to take up the extra research, right? Is there any any platform that you can recommend us so that we can actually do the research? Because right now online is everywhere.
I see. Oh, very good question. Okay, I was also at your stage at one point. Initially, I did not know what I'm going to do. Even when I was taking my major, also I didn't even know what my career prospects are. Like I said, sometimes it's not the information not available. It's because sometimes the field itself also is growing, right? Because the business environment is always changing, the field is changing as well. So I think in terms of getting get yourself ready with information, I think a good point to start off with is to just pray and also to think a little bit how and where you see yourself working at, right? Do you see yourself in the office environment? Do you see yourself, maybe doing investment-related things? Or you see yourself being in a corporation, right? Then from there, then you can work backwards. You can see whether you want to have a career in banking or you want to have a career in corporate. Then maybe from there you have a better trail, right? So I think to keep it very simple, right? Let's say if I'm interested in investment, you can just search up investment banking. Then any majors pertaining to investment banking, that would be a potential route. And let's say if it's corporate, I was mentioning just now also, any degree in business management or international business is related to business, also can be a route you can take. Yeah. But also I think I want to mention something also important. Basically when you Google, right, a lot of prospects in finance, right? But what is commonly known in Malaysia or the common jobs around is mainly in banking or in corporate, not for finance for the time being. So insurance is growing also actually.
Alright, thank you, Joshua.
Right, sure. Oh, okay, Wendy just asked, how do you know if finance is right for them? Tough question, Okay. Okay, so I just need to put it up also. Sometimes, if I listen to advice but that really may not be relevant for you right now, sometimes when you're thinking about your future prospects, you have to think also, just be more attentive to your interests. Sometimes you may be good in math, right? That's true. But sometimes when you come up in finance, you don't just do math, right? I was saying just now, doing math is just the theoretical part of it. But how you apply the math in the business environment, then that's where things become very dynamic, right? So if you see yourself liking math alone, maybe you need to think deeper. Okay, how do you actually apply those math? Is it you look at, for example, if you look at the share market, okay? If you see, why are the share market going, prices are going, why does it grow? If you have the urge to know why is it growing, then maybe you have a hint of interest in knowing more of analytics. Then maybe that could be a good analytics also. Or if you see certain numbers, why is it decreasing? Why is the business slowing down? If you certain of this situation that strikes some curiosity in you, then that could also be another thing. Maybe finance could be something for you also. Yeah, let's see. Actually, am I confident? Quite. Okay, we see your time. Any other questions, guys? Don't worry, you can ask me.
There's a question for me.
Oh, yeah, sure. Hi, Mika.
Would you say the market in investment banking in Malaysia is big? Or would you say it's better to go to Singapore, Hong Kong?
Great. Half question. Okay, good. Okay, so I myself, I'm not in the line of investment banking, but I have several friends who actually went in that. But again, for investment banking, how you want to put it? I'm not trying to discourage but just saying that to enter investment banking in Malaysia, it's a little bit of a longer process because before you get into investment banking, at least you're required to have CFA, right? The CFA paper, the certified. What is it called? Yeah, what's the CFA mean? Really, I can't remember the full name.
Certified Financial Analyst.
Yes, correct. So sometimes you may have a degree, you may go in the workplace, but I have a friend of mine who only had a degree. He went to the investment line. So what happens is that because he didn't have a CFA, and most of the time people in the investment line are very established people in the field. So you'll be starting at the very bottom. And then in terms of career prospects, I think opportunities are still there, just that it's a little bit stricter to get in. Basically, the requirement to enter is stricter in the investment side in Malaysia. When you're talking about going to Singapore, being the financial hub, I believe definitely opportunities are more in Singapore. But I cannot go any more deeper because I'm not very clear in the industry itself myself because I'm not in there.